Graham Mertz. I think it's the easiest way to start. Overall goes 31 of 44, 333 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. PFF gave him a 71.5 passing. But what do you guys think of Graham Mertz?
I thought he was solid for what we need him to be. He made some good throws. He made some errant throws as well. Not going to play perfect. The interception was more of a timing thing. You could debate whether he should come down with that or not if it was thrown too early. But overall, I just think we're asking him to do too much. My expectations, and I said this all offseason, was run the ball, play action off of that. And if we get the guy that we saw yesterday, if we do have a solid run game, we'll play action off of what we saw Saturday, he'll be more than good for us. I do want to see us stretch the field a little bit more. We just need better separation. I've seen some he got some playmakers at wide receiver, tight end, but it's just the personnel that's in there sometimes. We can shrink this down to maybe 4 or 5 wide receivers that got buckets. Like Burks looked good. Caleb Douglas looked good. We know who Ricky Pearsall is. Eugene Wilson, every time he touched the ball, like just feed those guys. I understand we're saying like what the offensive line couldn't do, but every time Trey Wilson touched the ball, he got buckets. Yeah. So keep getting him the ball until they stop it. And that's more of my frustration was not just the play calling. It was like feed the people that are eating. I think some of it we was just trying to force feed guys that just didn't need to get force fed. Yeah. And, if you watch the Urban Meyer days, bro, when they couldn't stop Percy and Percy was hot, you just keep feeding Percy until they figure that shit out. And I think Eugene Wilson had feed the hot shooter. So I think Graham Mertz was in good command. He was better than I thought he would be. I'm just keeping it a bean. I thought he handled adversity well. He was getting smashed. Like I know he woke up with migraines and headaches and body aches. So we didn't protect him well. He got hit a lot. He got hit a ton. We got in scoring opportunities in the offensive line, just making mistakes several times. We left a lot of points on the field early in the game. You can't do that on the road. But outside of that, Graham Mertz was solid, more than solid. He's not an incompetent quarterback. I think we're going to be okay there. It's with everything around him. I think the players around him let him down a little bit.
Yeah. Nick, let me just run through a couple things here. Gators threw 8 screen passes in this game against Utah, through 12 all of last year. Some other notes here. Graham Mertz averaged at 2.1 seconds throwing the ball after the ball was snapped. So again, you getting the ball out quickly doesn't leave you a lot of opportunity to throw the ball, especially the deep ball there. Florida attempted just 31.8% of their passes against Utah past the first down marker. Shout out to J. Bud Davis for that stat. That would rank as the 3rd lowest in the FBS for last season. And then I know Dave had this stat out there. Gators were averaging 7.6 yards per play on first down, and then averaged a third down of 10.2 yards. So obviously a lot of miscues along the way there. I thought Graham Mertz looked fine. Nick said fine plus a few weeks ago. I think that's what's to be expected. I thought that he did a little bit better than I thought he would, but when you have to be a one-dimensional offense the way that the Gators were on Thursday, you throwing the ball 44 times or whatever it was is just not going to be the way to win this season for the Gators. They've got to figure it out on the offensive line. They've got to figure it out rushing the ball, because this is just not going to be pretty. And the way that the offensive line is set up right now, I don't know if it's indicative of how the entire season's going to go, but the Gators are in shambles on the offensive line, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I thought Graham Mertz was fine.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I don't have any qualms with him.
I saw a bunch of people saying that they were complaining about Graham, and maybe it was only after a couple of those passes that he would want back. He's firing 98-mile-an-hour fastballs, 3 yards away from him and getting some incompletions. His numbers were inflated. The 70% for 333, that's inflated. Only 21 of the 33 completions traveled more than 10 yards in the air. I think I saw somewhere I think it's Clark Brooks with SC StatCat. I
Mhm.
think Florida's average like time to throw was 2.1 seconds. So like
Mhm.
you're not going to have long developing routes. You're not throwing a 30-yard post when you're getting that kind of that bad of protection. But Graham was exactly what I thought he'd be. He's going to be fine. He's not going to lose you a lot of games. I think Silk hit the nail on the head. The interception is not really on him. It's probably on him and Ricky, just in terms of timing of a route. The ball did hit Ricky in the hands. I mean, it was quick. I don't think Ricky's head had turned around by the time the ball was thrown yet. But Graham was fine. He's going to be fine. I think he can probably do a better job of maybe getting Florida out of some plays, but there's not much you can do as an offense when you're losing the way Florida did in the